Welcome back to Indeed IAS channel. So in this video we'll discuss why Pakistan has put on grey list and is it a setback to the Pakistan. So let's start. First of all, why it is in news? Because in October 2020 the FATF, means Financial Action Task Force, has decided to put Pakistan on the grey list until February 21st. So it's a FATF plenary session. Plenary session means it's a meeting, official meeting conducted by the members of FATF. They have decided to retain Pakistan on the grey list until February 2021. So in the next upcoming slides we will discuss something more about FATF and why Pakistan has been retained on grey list and what are its implications. Coming to the FATF, which stands for Financial Action Task Force, it is a global watchdog that has been established to combat money laundering and financial terrorism. Global watchdog means it is a monitoring. It is an internationally established monitoring organization. Essentially, watchdog implies that organization which is established to monitor something. So it's a global watchdog to combat two menaces. One is the money laundering, the other is the financial terrorism. Alright. So it is established in 1989 by the members of G7 nation members. Okay. So when it comes to the composition of the FATF, it includes as of now 39 members and two regional organizations. One is the European Commission and the other is the Gulf Cooperative Council, EC and GCC. When it comes to the money laundering and terrorist financing, so to put it simple, money laundering means an activity which involves conversion of black money into white money, or else which can also be called as illegitimate money conversion into legitimate money, right? So when it comes to the terrorist financing, simply put it, it is funding, that funding which involves helping in terrorist activities, in pursuing of the terrorist activities. Okay, so the FATF has been established to combat these two things. Okay, why? Because unless there is an international organization like FATF, it is impossible to curb such kind of activities like money laundering and terrorist financing, because they are not local issues. They are not local or regional issues, but they are global issues. Without cooperation at international level from the members of all the countries across the globe, without their cooperation, it is impossible to curb such kind of activities like money laundering and terrorist financing, because essentially these two things happen at cross national borders. Okay, apart, yes, it is possible that they happen within the country's territory, but major scale of them will take place at the international level. So the imperative of the FATF is very mandatory. Now coming to the FATF, what are the roles and significance of the FATF? First of all, FATF will make sure that nations will comply with the FATF guidelines and standards regarding what. So what are those guidelines, FATF guidelines and standards? It's all about how to curb the financial terrorism as well as money laundering. So guidelines specifically meant for these things are precisely given in FATF standards and guidelines. Alright, so it is decided by whom? It is decided by the FATF plenary, means it's an official meeting of the FATF. It is a decision making body of the FATF which meets thrice in a year. Okay, that is in February, June and October. In fact, right now we are discussing this issue because the FATF plenary, which was held in October 2020, has decided to retain Pakistan on grey list until when? Until its next meeting, that is on February 2021, right? So if you look at these three time periods, it will make sense. Now based on the country's compliance levels, all the countries across the globe, right, they are categorized into three types. What are they? Number one, whitelist. Countries categorized under whitelist. So those countries which are in full compliance or in maximum compliance, if not full, if they are in maximum compliance with the FATF guidelines, they are categorized under whitelist. And if there is a compliance but it is not at maximum but at minimum level, that country will be put under grey list. Now it makes sense why Pakistan is put under grey list, and countries which are under grey list will be put under intensive monitoring, because as we have seen that FATF essentially is a global watchdog, right? So those countries which are under grey list will be intensively monitored whether they are complying with the rules or not. Number 3, blacklist. Blacklist is the category of countries which are completely, absolutely non-cooperative nations, or else, in other words, they are also called as high-risk jurisdiction nations. Classic examples for this is North Korea and Iran. Now let's study the story of Pakistan. Pakistan has been put on grey list in June 2018. Okay, now why it has been put under grey list we will discuss, as in the upcoming slides you will get more clarity. Now since it is put under grey list in June 2018 and it was asked to implement certain guidelines and standards in the name of 27-point action plan that was recommended by FATF, means Pakistan was asked to take absolute administrative measures in order to comply with the FATF guidelines. So in what are those areas? There are totally 27 areas. In other words, these are called 27 points action plan. Okay, and the time given for Pakistan is until October 2019. Now if you look at broadly what are these 27-point action plans, to name a few, such as curbing terror financing, speedy trial of the UN designated terrorist groups like LET, which means Lashkar-e-Taiba, and JEM. See, I think all of you should be aware of these most reputed terrorist groups, because these are the ones which are responsible for creating lots of violence in so many regions. Particularly countries like India are one of the most vulnerable countries because of these organizations called LET and JEM. In fact, the Mumbai terror attacks which took place in 2008 was the consequence of the operations that are initiated by these LET only. Okay, now FATF is asking simply to take prompt action on these kind of terror organizations. What kind of action? See, these organizations have been getting access to financial resources from various sources. So, and it has become an easy task for these organizations to pursue their terrorist activities and creating a large scale violence, okay, across the globe. Number 2, Pakistan has been asked to convert the madrasas into formal schools. You know, madrasas are the places where the Islamic religion or the Shariat law is taught, isn't it? But in the name of Shariat law or Islamic religion, innocent children are being unnecessarily radicalized and they are converted into terrorists. So to make accountable of these madrasas, Pakistan has been asked to convert these madrasas into formal schools. So these points, these are few examples as I have been mentioning that comes under this 27-point action plan. Okay. Now what is the present status? Now in fact we have seen that Pakistan has been given time up to February 20, but later this time has been extended up to October 2020, right? And this time it is given time up to February 2021. Okay, means again and again, time and again, Pakistan is being given an opportunity to prove that it should come up with a clean state. Okay, but until now means until October 2020 FATF plenary session meeting, it was said that Pakistan could able to comply with only 13 out of 27 point action plan that we have seen in the previous slide. So out of 27, only 13 were implemented, and it is expected to implement by February 2021. So how many of them are remaining? Out of 27, 13 are implemented and 14 are left over. So by February 2021 means from October 2020 to February 2021, it is expected to implement rest of the 14 point action plan, which the experts say that it will be impossible for Pakistan to implement. Now what is the impact? Because we haven't discussed what if a country, yes, it is good that a country based on its compliance levels, it will be categorized under white list or grey list or black list. So what it makes a difference? How does it matters? Means if you look at here, thus Pakistan would not get any financial aid from international organizations like World Bank, International Monetary Funding, Asian Development Bank, European Union, etc. So access to, put it simple, access to international financial assistance will be cut down. If at all a country falls under either grey list or black list. Understood? So that is the impact if a country comes under black or grey, because Pakistan has failed to check the flow of money into terror groups like LET and Jaish-e-Mohammed. That's what we discussed in the previous slide. And ground realities means the question. So there are 14 more points to be implemented or enforced by the Pakistan, right? But will it do? Means it is doubtable, because if you look at the ground realities, first of all, Pakistan being put under grey list is not for the first time. In fact, it is third time that Pakistan is under grey list. First, it is for the first time it is in 2008, and then 2015, and now it in 2018. So that's a problem. And coming to next point, terrorists like as we have seen Jaish-e-Mohammed, LET, these people are moving with a free hand, right? If you look at the pictures over here, this is the Osama bin Laden, and the pictures above, right? These are the chiefs, commander-in-chiefs of the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. These are the people who are literally moving with a free hand in Pakistan, and as it seems not enough, the Pakistan Prime Minister all the way started lauding or hailing Osama bin Laden as a martyr. Okay, that's the sorry state affairs of the Pakistan. So apart from its impact on Pakistan, will India benefit if Pakistan comes out of grey list? Definitely, because India is the major victim of Pak-sponsored terrorism. For example, take the case of Mumbai terror attacks, as we have discussed, Mumbai terror attacks, or else the Pathankot military base attacks, or else the Uri base attacks, etc. Right? Now all these are outcomes of the Pakistan terror outfit activities only. And if in case Pakistan successfully implements all the 27-point action plan, we can say that it's a diplomatic win for India at the international platform also. Alright, so this is all about the why Pakistan is under FATF's grey list, and is it a setback to Pakistan? Yes, it's a setback, and it's going to be a win-to-win situation for India, right? Not only for the world, for India also, right? Thank you guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do subscribe my channel for more such kind of videos.